Good morning, Octopus Radio.
Yeah, hi, it's Paul Stanley.
Hey, Paul Perry, in the morning. Wow. Hey, this is so cool. This came together at the last second.
Yeah.
It's amazing when you have listened to somebody forever and have never had a chance to talk to any of the members of the band, and then just out of the blue one afternoon the phone rings and it's your publicist Lee saying, hey, do you want to talk to Paul Stanley?
There you go. Well, that's what life's about, all those little surprises.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, well, I'm rolling tape, Paul, and I'm going to air this tomorrow morning right before, of course, the big event down there in La Jolla for you. Okay?
Sure.
And we'll get some people to drive down there. For Kiss fans, well worth the drive. Okay. Hey, well, look who's on our Octopus phones here on this Friday morning. It is a guy that we've listened to for ages and ages and never had a chance to catch up with until now. It's Paul Stanley of Kiss. Hey, Paul.
Hey, Perry, how are you?
I'm doing all right, man. And you know, when I got the news that Paul was into something new and was into painting, I said, hey, I know Paul's into painting. I've seen those guys on stage. I've seen their faces are painted. I know he's into painting.
There you go. There you go. It's easier to paint something that's not moving.
Yeah. No, but seriously, Paul has got an art exhibit opening this weekend in Southern California. And can you tell us more about that, Paul Stanley of Kiss?
I can certainly tell you, Perry. Actually, I've done about 21 art shows in the last year and a half. I do on the average of one a month or so, and travel around the country displaying it at mainly Wentworth galleries. And, I've been painting for about 8 years, and basically a lot of them are abstract or abstract impressionists. And, for me, art has just become another way of expressing myself. I'm always looking for another outlet, whether it was doing, obviously music or doing theater.
So Paul Stanley can trace a comparison between his artwork and his writing of songs with Kiss.
Well, sure. They're just other outlets, and I look for as many as I can have. So painting really was kind of like a way of getting away from music. In a sense, when I started painting, it was almost a solitary pursuit where I was going to do something that nobody would ever see. When people saw some of the paintings in the house, it became clear that other people were very interested in the pieces. So I'd have to say that the last year and a half has been pretty stunning in the success. And if people measure success by money, which actually at this point I don't, but in that case it's I've done about $2+ million in the last year and a half. So it's pretty spectacular. It's nice to know that other people are connecting with my art as much as I enjoy doing it.
I want all of our Octopus listeners to go on Paul's website and check out his stuff because I dig it, man. It's whimsical. It's kind of trippy. Some of it's kind of far out. PaulStanley.com, and Paul's doing a show in La Jolla this weekend and appearing in person, right, Paul?
Yeah, I always believe that it's a great way to rub shoulders with people, and it's also I think a bonus when somebody buys a piece of art to be able to meet with the person who did it. And I always tell people, look, I will tell you my reality of a piece, but ultimately what becomes most important is your reality of the piece because you're the one taking it home. So, I try to stress that, look, there's a lot of collectors who have been picking up quite a few of my pieces, but, for the average person who's, curious, the fact is most people never get a chance to go into galleries because they're intimidated. Right. And that's probably because journalists and critics, on the whole, seem to want people to believe that their opinions aren't valid unless they're educated. That's a great way for somebody to have a job. But the truth is, your opinion is always valid purely because it's yours. It doesn't matter if someone else likes food that you don't like or vice versa. So, it's enough to go somewhere and just say I like something and not have to explain why. So, whether you're a real connoisseur or somebody who's a collector or knows anything, take a look.
Hey, if you know what would look good on your wall, I mean, there you go. And some of these, I got a wall picked out for one of these right now.
All right. Well, then I've got a hammer and a nail, and I'll put the hook up.
Hey, Paul, let's get inside the mind of Paul Stanley when he's creating. Do you listen to music when you're painting, or do you?
Yeah, most of the time I do, and I'm always looking for something great to listen to. For quite a while, I was listening to a lot of vintage R&B and Motown and Philly soul and Stax Volt stuff out of the South. But I'm always looking for something. I go into my art studio, crank up some music, and put a canvas up and go on a trip without a map. I never know quite what I'm going to do most of the time, and that makes it more interesting for me because I'm trying to kind of do stream of consciousness. I mean, it's almost like instead of writing words, you're using color and texture. So when something's done, I finally look at it and go, so that's what's going on inside Paul Stanley's mind.
Yeah. Yeah, 2 special appearances by Paul Stanley of Kiss in La Jolla at the Wentworth Gallery on Prospect Street tonight from 7 to 9, Saturday from 6 to 9 with Paul in person. And you can see his artwork and meet the man himself behind this great painting and great music. And a new album from Kiss in the works. Paul, can I ask you about that? Or
I think we've finally decided, we're going to go in. For a long time, I was very much ambivalent about the idea of doing a new album because I just feel that most of the time, 9 out of 10 people at a concert aren't really interested in hearing new music. They want to hear the classic songs. That goes for the Stones. That goes for every band, whether they record music or not. Let's face it. When you go to see the Stones, you go to hear Brown Sugar or Honky Tonk Woman. How many people really are calling out for something from a new album? So, but then again, there was enough people saying it, and I thought it would be a challenge because the band has really never been in better shape. We just did our biggest, most successful tour of Europe. We did 30 shows in 7 weeks, played to about 400,000 people, and it kind of primed me and made me think, what are we capable of right now in the studio? So we're going to go in and do a very classic, very rock album, guitars, drums, and bass, nothing else, no outside writers. It's going to be very self-contained.
All right. Back to the basics for Kiss and Paul Stanley in Southern California this weekend. Check out his artwork at the Wentworth Gallery in La Jolla. And Paul, I want to thank you for taking time out from your life and your music and your career and your artwork for doing this, and congratulate you on the new baby due.
About 6 weeks.
Yeah. A boy or a girl, do you know?
Girl.
Girl.
2 boys, so we're ready for a girl.
All right, Paul, that's wonderful, man. It's so good to talk to you. I have a sound. I have this sound bite. I don't know where I got it of you. I think it's you anyway. That I use from time to time, setting up your songs, where you're talking about a guy in a cherry picker falling on stage somewhere, and laying there in the middle of the stage, and the crowd thinking it was part of the act and the whole thing.
Yeah, well, fortunately or unfortunately, when you do the kind of show that Kiss does, whatever happens, people just go, oh, must be part of the show.
Right. Yeah, and I think another one of you talking about getting hit in the face with a bottle or something.
Same thing, whatever happens, people go, boy, how'd he do that?
Right. It's a shame that all these sound bites have to do with these tragedies. But
there's other ones, but they probably don't make it on radio.
That's not compelling enough, I guess. But Paul, thank you again for doing this, man. I hope you have a great turnout there down in La Jolla for that.
Thank you. Pleasure.
Wonderful to talk to you, man. Paul, thank you.